The cave has been elevated to such a high standard that now he's like, I'm unworthy to live in here. The map has led me to nothing. We are lost in this ravine, but we have one hope, which is the one person living down here. We are one of the most popular attractions at the carnival. I'm in the middle of like 10 different photos at once. If you're wondering what these house-looking things are, they are actually tombstones. This was the wealthiest family in the village 100 years ago. Hello friends, from China's most unique looking province, long and skinny Gansu, known for its diverse topography and its role as a corridor between East and Central Asia during the Silk Road period. Today, we're gonna delve deep into Gansu's Loess Plateau region. We're gonna explore a small town street market, 美元 local nightlife. I wanted to ride it and put it in the vlog, but I cannot justify that expenditure. And of course, a few more of the Loess Plateau's legendary cave dwellings. It's so long, it feels like being inside of a tunnel. Today's vlog begins from Zhaoshan, the first town we passed on our way from Shanxi province into Gansu province. It's a bit of a chaotic and noisy place, but pretty charming nevertheless.
人家买了小汽车，然后就是庆祝。那你们这不得天天听到这个声音吗？有点小事情人家就放炮呀。It's John's favorite snack. Crispy braid. This is the best crispy braid I've ever tasted. Return customer. He's back. He's buying 10 crispy braids. 我们会胖的，你买这么多油炸的东西。 Look at this. We don't even have room for all these. We're having malatang for lunch, and these crispy braids are so popular around here. They even have them at the malatang place, like a mini version. Super cute. Malatang is one of our favorite bike tour meals. You can pick whatever vegetables you want and mix it up each time depending on what you're in the mood for. People really do be setting off fireworks for any reason around here, at any hour of the day. Stopping by the afternoon market. Classic market aesthetic. Everybody's loudspeakers just cancel each other out and it's just like bah, 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 in the background. I don't know what anybody's selling. You gotta look. 他怎么画了一个头呀？这个瓜。这是葫芦籽儿。美元。20美元。要兑换这里吗？ These $1 million bills and the 10 billion renminbi bills behind them are to be burned for your ancestors to spend in the afterlife. I know everyone means well by doing this, but the poor ancestors, inflation must be horrendous up there. Burning money for the ancestors is pretty common all over the country, but one thing I saw here that I don't see in most places is these adorable house tombstones. I mean, they say funeral proceedings are expensive in the US, and all we have is like a little teeny stone to commemorate the grave. And look at this. Look at this. It's a whole house. This person was born in 1945, passed away in 1993. It seems to be a more upper class thing out of the reach of us peasants, but I love looking at them. It's so intricately designed. Look at it! Architecture is clearly a very important part of the culture here, and almost every single house has these beautiful elements on the roof and around the doorway. As much as I love living in Hangzhou, it would take me days to see as much cool architecture there as I see in 20 minutes here. There are also some very interesting finds on the walls. Phones are a bridge to friendship and information. What is this, 1980? If you want to get rich, get a phone. This has to be from the 90s or maybe 2000s at the latest, but it's amazing that the color has stayed so vibrant after all these years. Nowadays, it's so hard to imagine a society where people aren't completely addicted to and obsessed with smartphones. Look, who's addicted to watching AI slop these days? He's gone. Look at him. He's like in a trance. Do something productive. Be a cog in the capitalist machine. Anyway, even more interesting than the pro-telephone propaganda was this. Also probably from the 90s, but preserved perfectly because it's made out of tile. Avoid watching TV while pregnant because the X-rays coming out of the TV might damage your fetus. But interestingly, it does specify black and white TV is kind of okay. Like if you have to watch your dang soap opera, watch it on black and white because there are less X-rays coming out of the TV. Although it does sound a bit woo-woo in this day and age, the cathode ray TVs of our childhood actually did have a small risk of X-ray generation if the product was not properly regulated. However, the poster does acknowledge humans' obsession with screens and says if you must watch TV, do it from 2 meters away with the windows open. Anyway, keep your eyes peeled when you're traveling through rural China because you never know what interesting little time capsules you'll stumble into. And another fun fact about rural life is hardly anything goes to waste. Manure becomes fertilizer, old plant stalks become kindling, and pretty much anything that can be recycled will be recycled.
Plastic fiber sacks over here, cardboard, metals, plastics.
哦，一个10块钱，10份。
方向错了呢，等这边。孩子们今天见到的最精彩的事情就是你。
And the most exciting thing we saw all day was this, a carnival. Well, it's a little bit too early. We'll come back later.
2 hours later, we are back. Listen to all that noise. It is a chaotic scene indeed.
里面是，往里面来看一看。
哇，今天摆了好多东西啊！
哦，
这个鞋子是干嘛的？
鞋子这就是说，观音走这的穿的鞋子嘛。
那么小的鞋吗？
哎，观音因为他脚小嘛。
你看这个人这么小，他穿大的鞋。
哦，他就穿了个大鞋。
这个小娃娃还穿这么大的鞋。
哎，对的，这两个，他就说起来的话，他就是保护那个。
啊。
哦，就是这样的。
大的穿小鞋，小的穿大鞋。
哎，对。
好的。
今天是我们的这个庙的这个好像是祭奠的那个日子。
The commotion at the temple is just the appetizer. The real action is happening across the road.
All right, let's see what's for sale at the carnival. Shoes. Shoes for sale.
Crispy puffed corn thingies, fried squid, roast chestnuts, barbecue lamb skewers, barbecue chicken legs, candied fruit on a stick.
They got a pretty solid food selection back there, but then in the beverage department, it's just kind of like science experiment vibes. And we've got these cute little arcade thingies here. Don't really know how this works. I guess it's kind of like whack-a-mole. You gotta like hit the little guys. There's also a ring toss game. Oh my gosh, I hate this concept. Animals are such a commitment. They are not a casual thing to be won in a game. And to think a kid could just throw a hoop and then bring home a family parrot that the parents might not even want. Like, I'm not really into that one. We got a row of claw machines. Childhood classic. 看这个样子。
这个没有见过。
这有意思呀。哦，失败了。
我俩。我玩过，我试了。慢点。你俩啥水平啊？
多少钱玩一次？1块。
挂上去了。
卡达西。
那叫做红牛吧。
Guys, we finally won a creature, and you know why?
Because Asajon took so long to position the claw that it timed out and just grabbed something randomly.
可以啊，我要，不错，给我那个黄的，抓。
发现在西安吗？
在杭州。
杭州。
哇！
厉害！哦，
给我，给我，给我。
大枪，秘制酱料小配方。
Nobody dares to ride this thing. It's only got 2 people. 2 brave souls. Oh, just kidding. 4 brave souls.
At first, I thought there weren't many people on the ride because they're scared of it. But actually, it turns out it's the prices that are scarier than anything else here.
We were gonna ride the baby roller coaster, the one that just has like the teeniest hill. I was thinking like 5 renminbi max, and it's 20 renminbi per person to ride that teeny tiny little molehill of a roller coaster. I wanted to put it in the vlog, but I cannot justify that expenditure. We got a carnival classic, the balloon popping game.
Gun-loving Asadon was so hyped for this one until... But not everything here is expensive. Taking a photo with the random foreigner for your WeChat moments, for example, is free.
I'm in the middle of like 10 different photos at once. I 知道你是新疆人吗？你这个假老外。他是新疆人。We are one of the most popular attractions at the carnival.
But the most popular of all is definitely the opera performance. It's hard to understand what they're saying if you're not familiar with this art, but it was cool to experience it nevertheless. In this day and age where so many of us have 5-second attention spans and are completely addicted to screens, it was so cool to see this big of a crowd show up to support the opera performance. 10 out of 10, wholesome community event. After all the chaos of the previous night, the next day felt so quiet. We made our way through the winding village backroads, looking at all the cool architecture that never fails to amaze me, and then we ended up on the side of a ravine with no other people in sight, just surrounded by endless swaths of beautifully flowering trees.
I've been acting like a wild man, sleeping like a child, so luminous and vibrant. I'm always in bloom for you, always in bloom, always in bloom for
So the dirt roads can be annoying because they take much longer to traverse, but the scenery here is really unlike anything you're going to see on a regular road. So it is a trade-off, you know, and sometimes I think the dirt road is worth it. It's crazy to think that humans, like a century ago, would spend their entire lives in one village in this one little piece of the earth and never see anything else. Life before modern roads was crazy. This road just looks like it stopped. Like there is no road. There's no road here, but it's telling me to go. Guys, I feel so betrayed. So we got all the way to the bottom of this ravine to be told to follow this road that doesn't exist across a bridge that doesn't exist. Like none of it exists. We are lost in this ravine. The map has led me to nothing, but we have one hope, which is the one person living down here. I'll ask, where's the bridge at? Please tell us. There has to be a bridge here somewhere. And the map doesn't know where it is, but maybe the one guy who lives here does know where it is. I see him, he's on his tractor. This guy's probably like, what the heck is going on? 你好，附近有桥吗？
走到河边，往北过上，往北走，朝北那边走上，走过去有个小河，跨过小河，你再往前走，已经去到该北路上了。
好，谢谢。谢谢，打扰了。I see a road over there, so if we could just get to that somehow, then all is well.
We even got him to point out on the map where it was, but we just could not find it. We found this half-flooded sand patch, which was completely out of the range we could have reached anyway, and we also found this.
This is the spot where I guess there was once a bridge, but because nobody maintains it, it has fallen apart, and there's basically nothing left. And both navigation apps thought that the bridge is still here. So our entire route today depended on this one little thing that doesn't exist. So that sucks. And now we're gonna crawl back out the way we came.
But since we'd come all the way down here, we actually didn't want to turn around and leave that quickly. We wanted to explore a little more of the ravine. So we took a different dirt road, which was actually more of a grass road because barely anyone uses it aside from the occasional sheep herder.
你好，这条路可以回到和生镇吗？
能过去，路长了。
The map did say it was doable, but we have trust issues now. And fortunately, we ran into this guy right at the beginning because for the rest of the journey, we did not see a single human being.
Finally, we are back on flat land. We're about to pass through the same town that we left from like 7 hours ago, and we're gonna get a little bit further ahead down the road and get as close as we can to tomorrow's destination, which we will make a second attempt to reach. That's life.
The next morning, after a long detour to get around the impassable ravine, we finally arrived at our destination, Malsa Village. A friend of one of my Douyin subscribers actually lives here in Malsa Village, so he was able to give us a tour of some of the cave houses. We've been seeing cave houses for 3 provinces in a row, but I've never seen one that's taller than 1 story until now.
This is the McMansion of the cave house era, everyone. Look at this thing. They're so tall. This was the wealthiest family in the village 100 years ago.
当时如果是像弄这么高的窑洞，弄这么高的窑洞，这么大的面积的话，你们家原来都是地主。
富龙啊，
富龙是吧？哦，地主。
是吗？
村里面第一个买自行车的就是你爷爷。
那个就是我爷爷，人家会享受的很。人家会第一个走上海。上海去买那自行车子。
This might sound like small potatoes in this day and age, but Malsa Village is located in a deep and difficult to access ravine. It didn't even have modern roads connecting it to the outside until the early 2000s. So getting that bicycle was definitely the trek of a lifetime.
果然我们就找到这个村里面的首富了。这个村里面的第一个自行车是他爷爷买的。
我第一次看这么高的窑洞。
刚才我是不是给你介绍的我是厨房？
然后这是炕是吧？
对，这很热的，外面烧的挺暖和的，这个不潮。
拜拜。
As with most of the still inhabited cave homes around here, it's a fusion of cave house and modern house.
夏天你们在这里睡觉？冬天在这里。
冬天是这个房子冷。
Although most people in this region have left behind cave life for a big house with a courtyard, or in more recent years, a city apartment, cave lifestyle's one biggest benefit cannot be denied. Being inside of the earth means that during the summer it's cooler, and during the winter it's warmer in here.
窑洞不是小的很啊，窑洞不太大。我夏天又不热，冬天我又不加炉子乱火吃噻。冬天都是热天，热死我。
The superior temperature regulation of the cave homes is a big reason why some people actually do bother to go through with the expensive renovation process. At the time we visited, one of the cave houses next door was actually undergoing that very process.
Look, they are covering the outside of this thing in bricks. Look at all these people renovating the cave house.
这个大概得1个礼拜吧。
改造一个洞要多少钱呀？
2万左右。
It is not cheap to renovate these cave houses. It's actually cheaper to just build something else next to it.
But some people do renovate them to more modern standards. I've seen them before from afar while biking or from train windows. And in Hangzhou Village, I finally got a chance to tour a couple of modernized caves myself.
Oh. Wow, 这么长吗? Here's a little bed way back there. It's so long, it feels like being inside of a tunnel. And as you can see, they covered the floor in tiles. They covered the wall in panels and paint, and then they have a modern ceiling, so you deal with less dust and moisture. It used to go all the way up there, but now this has been cut off by the ceiling.
其实它把上面弄成平的，反而少了一点感觉。
This room actually has an unusual layout for a cave house. Usually the kindling bed is at the entrance for ventilation, but this is actually a guest room for friends and visitors. The two guest rooms have fake kindling beds just for the aesthetic, and the real kindling bed is in this room. Now let's see a super modern cave.
1890几年，他现在不行，我们就重新改造了一下。他原来没这东西，都是土的，我们加固了一下。
This was once a 150-year-old falling apart series of dirt caves, and they renovated it into this beautiful complex here that is currently being used as a dormitory for workers. This is a cave dormitory. That could also be a cave home. They've got a nice collection of tea items in here too, and they have a fancy tea table. So one of the challenges of cave houses is indoor plumbing, but they have it in this place. They have it indeed. There's even a shower.
Each one of the rooms is different. This one has a kindling bed. This one is a banquet hall with a mahjong table. And this one includes a very impressive collection of Chairman Mao buttons.
全部都是这当年的这些东西。
And look at that industrial-sized ashtray on the table. 这里的人很喜欢抽烟。
这是樱桃一个产业示范园嘛，我们想把它打造成一个科技小院，研究樱桃种植。 做这方面，院士工作室
不错呀。
哦，就是这个意思。
对，改造的很可爱，你不给自己留一个吗？
哎，专家是人才，我们要尊重。说上专家住窑洞，我们住这个就行了。
The cave has been elevated to such a high standard that now he's like, I'm unworthy to live in here.
Alongside the cave mansions and modernized caves and abandoned caves, there's also a cave hotel here in Hangzhou Village.
10年前你来这里，基本家家户户都是这种风格，围着那个灰尘地。 因为当时这个条件也很艰苦，所以拿那个面糊上去了，不会像现在还有什么那个板啊，还有什么漆呢？没有，所以像我们这个年龄，基本上都对这种比较有亲切感。
A flood of immigrants pours in over the U.S.-Mexican border. All right, so this was clearly from at least 2 or 3 years ago.
美银行业危机，
这也是美国，什么鬼？ All right, let me show you guys where we're staying tonight. One final cave, the last cave of our journey, most likely. We are staying in the wedding room cave, and I know that Guy and Shanxi told us that this is major horror movie vibes, but fortunately, neither Ace-chan or myself grew up watching those kind of movies, so to us, it's just cute.
And tomorrow morning, we will be continuing our journey through Gansu province in the direction of Ningxia, one of China's most obscure regions. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope you enjoyed this glimpse into life in Gansu, from the noisiest places to the quietest places, and of course, more caves. The signature traditional living style of the Loess Plateau. Sometimes it feels like the cave lifestyle is about to disappear altogether, but here and there, it's making a comeback in a modern form. Stay tuned for the next installment of China Off the Beaten Path. See you guys next time.